intuitive energy healer, Kundalini yoga practitioner, spiritual counselor, and this is one of my last videos on the documentary, The Keeper. Who Killed Sister Kathy? I'm just taking bits and pieces of the documentary and using it as teaching tools, a reflection of my 20 years of practice in the healing field. If you want to learn more about my work, you will see my website, heatherferri.com, which is the name I was born with, but I go by Sangeeta now. So this is episode 6 going into 7, which is the last episode. We see the victims coming together now and having conversations with each other. We're seeing the power of when more voices come out, the healing, and how they become higher conscious, happier human beings. They admit in this intimate conversation their desire to want to kill their abuser. I think that's an important thing to bring up and very common. It's human nature to want to act out as an animal with somebody that hurt you so deeply. And I want you to think about our jails and the people that are in jail right now. Do they come from child abuse? Were they taught about violence and rage from their environment? I don't believe any soul is born evil. Maybe we need new programs in our jails. My conclusion, faith and religion are two different ball games. I just wrote a song that I'm going to be selling on iTunes. You'll hear about it. And it deals with, it's a song that came to me in my late 20s, but has really developed into my Sangeeta authentic self, as I believe religion should be one, that religion is love, period. In the scripture, they notate in the documentary, everything in darkness brought to light. That's what this documentary is doing. And they do a brilliant job at it. Truth is more important than the stories we tell ourselves to avoid trouble. I spent many years being the people pleaser, being the good girl, selling myself short by putting myself into family environments that was not only hurting my health, actually, but hurting my psyche, because I was sitting in an environment living a lie. And let me tell you, there's nothing more depressive than living a lie. In the last episode, we're introduced to a gentleman who describes himself as a great dentist, but has a drug problem. He's sober for roughly around 9 years. He blames the priest because of the abuse, but he also blames himself. Well, I'm going to tell you, after hearing his story, I blame the priest. I'm sorry. When you're 9, 10, 11 years old and you have somebody not only sexually abusing you, but teaching you that alcohol is a great way to forget your problems and exposing you to such darkness, that is how those are the ages where your brain is being developed and your self-identity is being developed, and he robbed you of that. So I commend you in this documentary. I commend your healing process. No, we can't hold on to anger and blame because it just holds us back. In my practice with victims, I teach them a lot of tools to release their anger, not only out of their bodies so they don't get cancer, but out of their minds, to reprogram the mind so that you are empowered and light and you become more than whatever you thought you could be. We see Sister Kathy go back to Pittsburgh, which I have to say, hey, I'm a Pittsburgh girl, born and raised. This YouTube channel is taking place in the city of Pittsburgh. I love my city. And she's coming back. She's very sad. This is right before she's murdered. And she's sharing, this conflict of maybe leaving the church, definitely leaving the high school she was teaching at. And her dad says to her, the world is a dangerous place. And she says, how do you know my world isn't a dangerous place? Powerful statement. We never know what's going on in somebody's household unless we're living in it. We never know what's going on in a school system, apparently this system, because no one else was paying attention except Sister Kathy. For many, many years, I didn't feel like I had a home. It took me a long time to realize that my home is here in my soul. Jane Doe finally signs on to the Keepers Official Group Facebook page, which you'll see that link below. She talks about more anger being released as she is starting to see how she has trust issues in building relationships with people, which is common. That sort of set off a thought process for me. I've had issues with trusting men in my life due to not only the abuse I endured, but also sort of the lack of male presence in dealing with my abuse. In the trials, we're seeing very courageous people step up to the plate and talk about at 60, 70, 80 years old how the abuse, sexual abuse from these priests have affected their lives. Jane Doe makes a comment about how it's affected her. I live small. I can relate to that. Even that feeling of being constricted, hiding oneself, not feeling like, I remember going to family events and really not feeling like I was being myself. Being in an environment where my abuser was in and living a lie was so depressing to me. Living small. And so my declaration recently is I'm going to live big. I'm going to have a voice whether people like it or not. And I'm going to encourage other people to have a voice. One of the reasons why I created this YouTube channel and I created and publishing a book that I've worked on for 6 years is that I want to inspire other victims that if you do Eastern sciences like Kundalini brainwork, drink Kangen water, you can be the best of you. And we don't have to stay with these old systems of being. It's clear in this documentary that the church is corrupted. It's clear that they send this message that you are invisible. And it's clear that we have taken back our power by saying, you know what, we're here, whether you like it or not, and we are going to start talking, whether you like it or not. At the end of the episode, Sister Kathy in 1959, she wrote a poem called Death. I wanted to quote, and I hope I do a good job of quoting part of that poem. Before performing an act, if people would stop and think of death, of judgment, of all such things, I'm sure we would do our best. For some reason, Sister Kathy's life, the influence that she had on her students, and the reason, and the murder, and how sad that is, but I have to believe that because of her murder, all of this sex scandal came out. It has saved and has helped heal thousands and thousands. We don't even know the number of people. I do one more video. I'm going to Sister Kathy's grave, and I wrote a poem for her, and I hope you'll tune in. So subscribe below, Satnam TV. Share your comments if you have any questions or any ideas of things that you want to learn about from my work. And I wish you a blessed day. Satnam.